All right, let's continue with day 3's progress. And again, these are kind of off the cuff, learn as I learn tutorials. In some sense, maybe just stream of consciousness as I explore this vast new programming language. So where we just left off was we basically just tested some states for a class that we have on here. We're calling this guy bro, and when the video is paused, I just imported in here another bro. This one, if I open him up, make him look a little bit bigger, you'll see he looks kind of like Buffalo Arnold-esque dude from back in the day, back in the Predator days. And we will test him to see which node we're kind of more concerned about here. All right, so we've already got on here, we've declared this this bro node to use in any one of our functions that we've got out here. And what we'll do is we'll also add another Sprite kit node. This time not of the bro class, which was a subclass of Sprite kit node. Instead, we'll just go with that Sprite kit node directly and put this right onto the scene here. So we're gonna put let, and the reason I can go with let over var is this particular node is not going to change over time. All right, so it's just constantly going to be equal to what we start off at. So we'll call this bro node 2, and this is going to equal SK Sprite node. So again, take a look. Our previous one was bro. This time it's now just a SK Sprite node, and we've also got image named here. All right, so that's just one of the built-in parameters to get this Sprite kit node started. And if I remember right, what did I call this? Bro2 idle. Okay, I only put in one set of images for bro2 and idle. Okay, and this time around we can just go with bro node 2. We don't have to do a exclamation point or a question mark after that, but I do actually have to write dot position if I want to put this guy somewhere. And here, we'll just steal these previous couple of lines here. Let's put them over at about 500. Leave the y value at the same, and then here just change that to bro node 2. So if I were to run this, which I will, we should see that we've now added 2 images to the scene, and we're still doing the same thing we had in there before, but we've got another little guy to not really work with because as soon as we leave our did move to view statement here, well, it's not that we can't access this guy, it's that he's less easy to access, okay? And all these other ones we can just refer to as bro node. Now what we would need to do is either give him a .name property and then search for him, which isn't that hard, or we could test to see if we've got a node on here of the SK Sprite node class. That's one way of going about it. But really, I just don't care about this guy anymore. The reason I'm including him is just so that we have at least 2 objects here to look for, to kind of parse through, and we'll do that inside of our update statement. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of what we currently have, or you know what, if we maybe need to refer back to it, what I'll do is I'll just comment it out. And this time what we'll do is go to keep losing my mouse. Why would I keep losing my mouse? Well, it's because I just today connected up a second monitor that's been lying around the basement forever to kind of jot down notes, unbeknownst to all of you that are limited to only seeing this portion of my screen. All right, so what we're going to do is run itself, enumerate child nodes with name, and if we had given that guy a name, we could put that in here. Let's say if it was something like bro2, and then well, let's see, let me finish off writing this. All right, I'll explain all that in a second. But if we had given him a name, that would be one way to find him, pick him out. All right, so you could do something like that. Not going to hurt to give them a name. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through every single node that we have in the scene using that little asterisk right there. Okay, so that just means it's going to go through everybody, no matter what their name is, whoever they are, as long as they're added to the scene. We'll step through them in this statement, and if we find a node, which we will find 2 of them because there are 2 out there, we're going to test one of them to see if it is of the type bro class. All right, so we really don't care about those classes that are just of SK Sprite node. And to do this, we're going to write if, and I should have, before I glance over this, we can stop enumerating too, and we'll test that out in just a moment. But if let found bro, okay, so that's going to be the new name of the instance that we find, or I should say, yeah, it's just another way of referring to it. All right, so if we find a bro out there, kind of say it like that, we're gonna say, well, okay, you're gonna equal that node. All right, so whoever we stopped and are checking against, and as bro. Okay. So basically, if this part is true, all right, if we found a bro that is equal to a node as bro, kind of reads pretty literally there, then we get to do what's inside of here. Otherwise, this just gets ignored, okay? And we could try something like this. Put an else statement in here and just print out that we found one and we didn't find one. And we should, when we run this, just see that flip-flop back and forth. So we'll just say found one as bro, and then found one not as bro class. All right, and I believe yeah, we can give this a shot now. Might need to remove some of my other update statement or print statements, but no, actually, okay. It's just going back and forth between these 2, right? And if I were to scroll up, you'll see it's just constantly been running that. It's a little hard to see that when it's just at the bottom there, but yeah, okay, you see the little scroll bars ticking up, so it's just going over and over and over again, and doing this if else statement. All right, now what happens with or I should say, who is this found bro? Okay, it's not a duplication of the bro that we currently have out here. All right, it's not a unique copy of it. It's just a way of casting this new variable as that same one. Okay, so nice thing is that we could now call any of the functions that we have that we had previously for our bro node from here. All right, so we could say found bro step state, right? And that is kind of, I think, in some sense, the magic of this little line right here is. And previously, we would have had to do something like is the object a kind of this class, and then if it is, then we'd have to do our typecasting, okay, which is essentially what that is right here. Now we're just doing this all in this one simple line. If let found bro equals node as bro, then we know it is that type, and then it's safe to call any of the functions or access any of the properties inside of there. And again, a good way to test this is just to see if, if you just do that little dot right there, if one of your function names shows up. All right, step state, that's one of the ones that we wrote in there earlier. And of course, another way to tell is if we don't get any errors, that should go away. There we go. We're in good shape. And now what we could do is, since we only care about this one bro, we could write stop. I think this is a line to do it. I might need to double check this. I'm like a bad reporter here. I went to one site and I was like, how do we stop and enumerate child nodes with it? Some guy writes back, stop, that memory equals true. So let's see. We should be able to test that if, well, let's see what happens when we run it. in theory, if it finds the bro first, then it should stop this enumeration and never make its way down to the else statement, which I did actually, unfortunately, clear out the output found. But you know, it all kind of comes down to which one of them is it looking at first. Is it looking at bro 2 or is it looking at bro 1? Let's just see what happens. Oh, well, you know what? It's look, I think it is kind of working as I assumed it would, but it's calling that step state in there, which is what's spitting out these various states. So I think now, actually, if we were to just run this without that, kind of interfering with our log statements, yep, sure enough, found. Now, this is not a guaranteed way to, you know, I don't know. This is fine. It's just that you never know which one of these two it's going to look at first, right? So there's no guarantees that it's going to inspect found bro or the bro class right away. All right, so that's interesting, right? Right, kind of cool. I thought this was cool. What else can we look at here? Let's go over to our bro class and put in its own update function. Okay, so we're going to write func update, and I don't think we need anything else in there. So let's put a little note in here that says, there we go. It's like, sometimes these little red errors don't go away quick enough. This instance, I'll say, will update when told to by the game scene class. All right, now what's that mean? Well, as long as this scene is running, okay, this function is going to run. Now, when would it not be running? All right, well, in a case like this, self.paused equals true. Oh, there we go. All right, so if the scene is paused, or view, I'm not sure, I think it's scene, then that means that everything in here is not going to happen. All right, so if we put in here found bro dot update, all right, that is going to call that same very similar method inside of the class to run. And I'm just going to comment this out so I don't accidentally publish it with that set to be paused. But this is a nice way to control kind of like everything in your game, all the other nodes that you bring in here. And think about it, if you were to pause the game, but you've got all these other elements in here kind of doing their own thought processes. Your enemies are updating themselves, your player's updating itself. But if you have this one kind of master switch to just shut off everybody, okay, it's like everybody pause right now. This is a great way to do it. And I've done this in the past plenty of times, and so far so good is the point that I'm making. So you know what you could do here is you could do some testing at this point to see if it's even worth calling the update function. And let me just show you, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. So we could probably put in here bronode.current state, and this is just that same line that we had before where we wrote bro states dot idle. But really, probably what you'd want to do is something more like this. So if the, let's see, what part of this don't you like? Okay, all right, well, oh, there we go. Yeah, I guess. Oh, you know what, I'm sorry. I should have been using that right there. So if it's not, if this guy is an idle, if its state is an idle, then update, okay? Otherwise, well, you can just say do nothing. Okay, you don't have to put an else statement in here. But you know, I think it's kind of questionable whether or not you do something like this inside of the actual class itself. Okay, so you might want to just go, well, no matter what, if we find this guy, we're gonna update him, and then you go back over to here and you do your really specific testing for, you know, if current state does not equal .idle. And of course, writing off the cuff like that will, oh no, I guess it didn't mind that. Okay, so, you know, maybe put a little note here. Do testing for specific states, and otherwise just ignore what's going on. Right. Okay. So really, you know, all that fun stuff, firing, getting hurt, that would happen in here. Firing and getting hurt happens here, right? And that way too, it gives you the option to you know, do other things that might need updating inside of here, and you're not having to kind of bloat this particular function with all these different conditions over this way. And I think that's it's probably the way most people would approach that, right? But, you know, something that you could do as well is say, put another one of your if statements in here and say, well, if our found bro is in the firing state, okay, so you might say, if in firing state, then do something different in the game scene, right? Like go into defense mode, okay? Or maybe some of your GUI is highlighting the amount of ammo that you have, right? So there's things like that that you know, you might want to test within the class that affect things in the game scene. And all right, now let's move them around a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll say self dot position equals CG point self dot x plus 1, and this is one of those times where I know I'm just going to mess up something small. Okay, well, let's see what happens now. Run it. And now, keep in mind, we are in our idle state, so nothing's going to happen. Let's see. Let's try tapping, and then, yep, sure enough. All right, so since I've progressed us to one of our non-idle states, and if I hit it one more time, it goes back to being idle, and he's not moving around. And that would probably be a more illustrated test if I had just commented out those. Actually, that was the only one running. So let's do it one more time. This way you can see. All right, so he's idle. I mean, I'm sorry, I stepped him forward. So initially he was idle. Now he's on to something else. He was hurt. Now he's on to firing. And then when I tapped again, it progressed from firing back to being idle again. And he's not moving around, huh? So there, yeah, that's kind of interesting, right? Now, to maybe see this a little bit better, what we should do is change the texture of the sprite itself. So back over here, what better place to put this code than in our switch statement, where we step through states, and we're going to write let new texture, and we can make this a non-variable, just a constant, because well, we don't need to change it. All right, we're just going to use it once and then throw it away. So it's going to be a new texture, and then we just write SKTexture for Sprite Kit texture, and it's asking for an image named, and similar to how we well, I was going to say it's similar to how we initialized this class, but we did that in the other, in our game scene. We're just going to write bro hurt. Okay, that was the name of that one. And then all we have to do is write self.texture, okay, because this is a subclass of SpriteKit node. We can access the .texture property that already exists for every SK Sprite node, and then we'll just make this equal to new texture, and that alone is going to change the look of the character. So we'll do this for every one of these states, and this is going to be bro fire, then back to idle again, and now I think we can test this out. Okay, so there we go. Got our two bros, and that guy is now moving because he's in his non-idle state, and of course, representative of that, he's got the first frame of a hurt animation. And before, I gotta test it. I gotta pre-publish it. I talk too much, don't I? Here we go. Let's try it again. All right, so now I stepped through it twice, and this dude is he's now firing. If I press again, he's gonna go back to his idle state, and because he is idle, he is not moving, because yet again, there it is. That's that one line that keeps him moving across when he's non-idle, and you get to see those log statements down there. And I feel like we've accomplished a lot today. Day 3, big day, right? All right, so I'll wrap things up, and hopefully you stay tuned for the next video tomorrow. And again, if you guys want to go to GameArtPartners.com, search for some of the free characters there. Here, we'll type it in for you. Free. You can use any of my... actually, I'm sorry, you can use one of the free characters here in my Bro series. And or if you want to play around with this military-style character, he is $0 as well. And this site has tons of free artwork for games, and has plenty of not-so-free artwork for games, too. So anyway, enjoy.